Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Well, sorry, I was just looking at Tesla. It's just looking at some of these deals, how they're trading in the pre-market. Nvidia at all-time highs. Man, Intel's just barreling towards that 133. AMD 457, close 453. We'll see how this day shakes out. So overnight inventory is short. And you can see the cost basis of the overnight profile is here. So I'd say your cost basis is probably 7,400 to 7,421. So that's the position of the overnight. Now, generally in these markets, you have a move up to correct inventory. It's already started. The reference for you for longs, if you're long and you want to stay long, yesterday's low is the gatekeeper. You don't want to be long if this thing breaks yesterday's low, because most likely it's going to come down and test that overnight low, right? If it breaks yesterday's low, comes down, fails to test the overnight low, and then comes back up, that is a look below and fail of the previous day low. Okay? So that's what you're looking at, right? We're looking for that kind of a scenario because there is a seller. There are sellers, right? Basically, like, how do I say this? It's not that there's so many sellers per se, but there is kind of a lack of buying, right? So what stimulates buying? What stimulates buying is number one is sideways action, which people think is price stability, right? The other thing that stimulates buying is trap shorts. So price stability is the first thing that we look at. Because if we get prices to hold for a good amount of time, it'll bring in buyers and then shorts have to cover and it'll push price up. That's the principle of our trade. I'm going to repeat this. This is important. Okay? So when you get price stability, you get a liquidation, right? And then price goes kind of sideways for a little bit. You guys with me? Yes? No? Okay, cool. So if enough people buy this area, it attracts more people. But what it does is it also attracts people who shorted thinking that this is going to happen. When you reclaim the previous day low, the people who shorted here go to cover. And all that cheap supply is gone. So the people who bought the cheap supply yank the price up, right? So you get a liquidation, right? And then you go sideways, and then you have cheap supply. And then you have short sellers. I call them the dumb money shorts. Instead of building a long position here, they build a short position. And let's say this is the previous day low. Sorry, not the previous day high, right? So that's the low of the previous day. When you reclaim that previous day low, the people who are short here, some of them might add, but as soon as you start getting higher, they'll start to cover. And if all of that cheap supply right? Say we were up here and we were going like this, and we liquidated. All of that cheap supply is now gone. It's like, this car was 20 grand. Now they've raised the price to 35 and you can't buy anything under 20. So if you had sold cars to customers that you didn't have at 20 grand, you got to buy them back at 35 and deliver. Right? Does that make sense? So that's what causes that move up. Now, is that move up sustainable? Right now it's not sustainable until we prove that we can hold the previous day low on the open. Okay? If you're not sure about what I'm talking about, this is what I mean, that you should go and rewind these recordings. Not that I'm some sage, but I drop a lot of small details in one or two sentences. And I try and explain it, but I know that people don't listen. They gloss over it because they're looking for trades. I tell you something, the devil's in the details, right? In this business, the devil is in the details, right? So that short covering move, the business that you must do when this happens is you must build a long position and then sell into the strength of that short covering move. Does everybody understand that principle? Guys in the room? Okay, I'm just checking, right? I know what to do. I just want to make sure you guys do, right? The business premise is you're buying cheap supply at a discount. And then you're going to sell it into the strength that is created when the shorts come in and cover. That is called leveraging the short sellers or leveraging trapped shorts, right? And it does make sense, Tim, because it is how the business works. Sideways markets attract buyers if they can hold their lows. And we're going to look at that on the 1 minute chart. This thing had sellers all Globex, and it just kept going lower, and then it just chopped around between 74.05 and 13. Then that short covering move, which I took, I was long 14.15, and I sold it right away into the 17.18s, right? So, because I knew, and I'm going to show you, if you draw a volume profile, check this out, right? So this is that move I'm talking about, right? There's the volume, right? See all this volume. This is the inventory. This is the cost basis of the liquidating inventory, right? The point of control, yes, Raj, the point of control moved down, right? So the point of control moved down, that means good accumulation. Now this sideways motion gets people, especially when it does this, right? Came under 74.02, broke 7400, came back up. Everybody wants to short it because it broke 7400. They add to it here, they add to it here. Then when it reclaims this and it takes VWAP, everybody rushes to cover. But am I going to hold it till the edge of the zone? Not right now. Why? Because there's a seller here. Can you see this chunk of volume? We have to clean up this volume before we can reclaim 21. And there's going to be a seller at 24. And there's going to be a seller just at 27. Okay? So say if you're still long here and we hold 13, your next level, it's got to take out the 20s, right? There's no reason you should be holding up. If you're a small trader and you're just trying to learn how to get profitable, you should have been buying 15, 16, selling 18, 17, 18, 19, right? If you bought this here, did not sell here, and are holding the trade here, hoping that it stays over 13.5, you failed. You have to sell into strength in this market. We are at all-time highs, and that means a couple of things. It means a lot of people are trapped short underneath. That means the only buyers are the people who have to buy it, right? So they're the people who are smart money and they accumulate. And then when they see those desperate buyers, they sell into them. Do you know what I mean? Right? If I know that you guys are all short a stock under $4, I'll be a buyer in the threes. And when it breaks 4 and you guys all rush to cover, I'm going to sell every share I have. Am I looking at an investment? No, I'm looking at a trade. The trade is based on the fact that other traders are trapped. And when they show their hand, that's when you let them have it. Got it? And that is trading. Okay? It's not some technical indicator or a moving average or any of that stuff. Not that anything's wrong with it. But wouldn't you like to know why things happen so your moving average makes sense? The moving average keeps moving up, like Steve takes those 9 EMA trades. When it gets up over the 9 EMA, he'll just hold the trade until it breaks it. Simple, because the bid is moving higher and higher and higher. So he positions himself, right? And when that EMA is moving, he positions himself here, and he'll just ride it. And if this happens, he just gets out, right? There's simplicity in that, right? And he doesn't like choppy trading, so he likes to take a trade and just chill and move up with it, right? We do the look below and fail because futures, I haven't used the 9 EMA. I know it works, but it doesn't really work in chop, right? It's harder. So you have different tools for different markets, right? Just like a plumber has a different tool, for, the snake versus the pipe wrench versus the blowtorch, right? You have different tools for different things. Now, remember inventory is still probably around 80% short, maybe even more, right? I'd say there's 70% and there's probably another 10, 15%, maybe 80, 85% short, okay? So we're still looking for a move higher, but we don't have as many aggressive buyers as we usually do. 96? Wow. Thanks, Elsie. We don't have as much desperation because the buyers saw that there were sellers at 21. They saw that there were sellers at 20, right? So why am I in a rush? Now there's sellers under VWAP, under 15. They stopped selling under 13 and a half. The candles are getting small. Business is kind of slowing before the open. So we're going to open in a minute here. So we're not going to open on a gap down by the looks of it anyway from now. But definitely look for this 74.10, yesterday's low. Look for that to get tested. Okay, it'd be very strange if we don't at least do one of these, right? If we break it and come down here, let the size traders find the buying here. Wait till it reclaims if you're looking for a long. Now you're saying, JJ, why are you looking for longs instead of shorts? Because inventory is 96% short, right? Inventory is 96% short. That's why we're looking for longs, right? If we take out the overnight low and keep going, that changes that theory. The order flow has overruled the structure, right? So there we are, we're open. Let's see if we can take out this stop here, just at 12 and a half. Excuse me. So now a lot of people will, when it stops, they prematurely buy, right? And then it continues lower and then you get stopped out, right? Pain. Don't let the price action fool you. Wait till, see how it failed to get to the low? There are bids here. Let's see if we can fill them. There, we filled them. See? Patience. I still don't want to buy it. I want for it to come down here and then come back up. You know what? It'd be wonderful if we got a 150 point liquidation. I'm on board with that. Right? Use the 1 minute candle chart. Now we're reclaiming that previous day high, right? If it holds and you're buying the 10s, there's going to be sellers at 13, right? So if you're long 10, right, your stop's just here. You don't want to spend too much money on this trade, right? Let the size traders work that out, right? Because you'll get a quick short cover, it'll take you up, and then they'll sell into it, right? As private equity guy would say, LC, oh, how curious. That's curious. Right? I don't care what they're doing here. Let them screw around, right? Pretend you're waiting for the hotel room to be cleaned. If you're short under 74.10, 74.11 is your stop. Now let's see. There's going to be a seller at that previous day low. Do I want to go long yet? You know, I'll bite, but you're not proving it to me yet. See, as the market comes up to that previous day low, you see the seller? There's the seller. Boom, there they are. They push price down because they're competing, right? That's because anybody who bought it at 7 is going to sell 9. Otherwise, they got rocks in their heads, right? Once it reclaims 11 to 13, 14, that's more like it, right? But if it can't hold yesterday's low, it can get ugly, right? That's the hard part about the look below and fail. Inventory is short 96%, but we still have a lack of desperate buying. And to push markets at new highs, you need people to desperately come in and put in some size. When that size comes in, the order book will just clear out and the price will rip. Right? Yeah, for a longer term trade, 20 definitely. You want to clear that 21. Right? Till then, it's chop city. Excuse my voice. I've been on the phone a little bit more than usual today, so it's choppy as hell, right? Don't get sucked into the chop. If you get sucked into the chop, right, like now, if you go long and then you get stopped out, just like there, right? Just go, okay, you got me, right? Don't get all angry, right? Yeah, once we clear that 10.5 and clear out, see, there's a seller at 10. There's a seller at 10.5. They're stacked on top of each other. And they're showing their hand right now, so there's no use going long, right? One trade that hopefully once we get some more liquidation is the look above and fail of the previous day low, where you short and then put your stop there. In hindsight, that looks good, but I need to do work on it. Right? And what did I say? That overnight low, if we crack the previous day low, look to see if we can get down to that overnight low. Okay? And once again, excuse me, my voice. And once again, mark off where the sellers are. So when the time is to take the elevator back up, you'll know what floor you're getting off, right? And this is how we avoid buying a position, adding to it, getting stopped out, then freaking out, right? You just wait for the edge, right? If it takes out that overnight low, I'll look for a look below and fail of 73.90, right? If it just goes sideways in this area here, I'll just chill and wait. The reasoning behind this is you don't know what's going to happen here. And if you're trying to trade one signal candle, you're getting a very, very small perspective, right? If you're just trying to trade one candle and hit the top of it or buy the bottom of it, it's really hard. You got to be very fast, right? Let's see what she does here. Those of you who are joining us, I'm JJ. This is the Trading Syndicate. This is where we teach people how to use common sense and the business when they trade. So every trade has a business reason. If there is no business reason, there is no trade. What's the business reason? What I was talking about earlier, price stability. You can see the shorts coming into cover. You buy a little bit and you sell into that. For shorting, right? Now, where I screwed up this morning is I haven't been focused on shorting that previous day low. When I saw the sellers move from here to here, I should have been short. But I got biased because inventory is 96% short. So see, you can get biased, right? Everyone gets biased. Now, I didn't lose any money, but I didn't make any money where I could have made money shorting. You guys get me? So now I've got to write that down in my trade journal. I was biased long because inventory was short, and I was looking for longs that did not happen. So that means my discipline and my brain is not as fast as it should be. Because as soon as I had realized that, I should have flipped to the short. And that's what really fast, good traders do. When the market gives them information, instead of trying to go, oh, what's going on, they use that information because they're trained. So what happened to me this morning is that my discipline was not there. My discipline says when I see sellers that I should be looking for shorts. Right? Not let your bias, right? Because a lot of the times I'll be short biased and the market shows me a long, I'll take the long, right? This time I was long biased and the market's telling me to go short and I'm not taking the short because I'm not tuned in as much as I should be. Does that make sense? And that is how you develop as a trader, is when you realize what you're screwing up. So instead of getting upset that I'm not making money, I'm going to look and see why I'm not making money. And this is how you use trading psychology to enhance your business. Right? I have journal. I'm always writing journals. When I'm trading intensely, which I haven't done for weeks because I was been so sick. I'm just getting back into trading now using the micro. I did a couple of trades with minis. I'm slowly getting back into it, but of course you got to journal because the market's constantly changing. It's a really good question, Attila. Right? Even the most senior traders keep notes. Get it? It's healthy. Helps you work out your thoughts. This way you can keep track of what's going on in the market. Okay? Nothing to do here yet. If you're a fast trader, you maybe could have bought the 4s and 5s and sold into the 6s, but give it some time. There's just a lack of buying today, right? There's no really what I call the Vatican bid. There's no Vatican bid yet, right? That's what I'm looking for. Now, interestingly enough, we're under the short position of 2 days prior, which was just around 74.10. So I want to see if we can get down to that 73.90 level, right? There's a lot of short covering here. Do you see this? This is all short covering, right? When you break a previous day low in RTH, you get a lot of people who use that low as a stop and they're getting out, right? And they sold out, sold out, sold out. And the market comes back, they sell into it again, right? That's how you distribute size, right? Well, do you know what an ask is versus a bid, Symphony Trades? Do you know the difference between the bid and the ask? So when the market goes down, why are there a lot of offers or asks coming in? Because a lot of sellers are coming in. Make sense? Simple. Now let's see if we hold that 74.10, right? And so you're long 10, 11, sell them like you stole them. There's going to be a seller at 13 and change. That's where VWAP is, right? So make sure you liquidate into strength. Don't wait for an invitation to sell when there's supply above you, okay? See, there's sellers. See how there were sellers at VWAP? Take your profits. I'll take 3 points. I'll take 2.5, 3 points on 4 contracts. I'm perfectly fine with that. Right? Yeah. That's why, you guys, when I say watch the offer, watch the ask, when the offer is moving up, it means the sellers have seen buyers. How do I know this? Because I was a seller for 2 decades, right? I've probably sold more stock in a day than most of you have traded in a year, probably combined, because all I did was sell stock for insiders. Now, I'm not boasting, I'm just saying that's the business. I sold billions of shares of stock. So when competition shows up, I've got to move my price down so I can capture the buying, because we're trying to sell millions of shares or thousands of contracts. That's why they call it price competition, right? Because it's a market. See, I don't know about the buying tail and shorts being trapped. I know they're trapped at the base of the P from 2 days ago, right? They could be trapped at the base of the tail, but I haven't done the work, Ronan. Does that make sense? I haven't done the work. I haven't looked at that situation enough times that I know for sure that what you're saying is true. It could be, but I haven't put in the 500 instances, right? Or as they say, sample size. So how do you know when the buying's, when the offer moves lower, right? This is really difficult for folks because they don't work in the business. They don't know what an offer is, right? See, when you put an offer in on a house, it means you're putting you know, an agreement to buy it. That's different. When you're putting an offer in a market, you're putting an order in to sell. So if you offer something at 5 and somebody offers it at 4, well, you're just going to sit there like a bump on a log? No, you got to go 398, right? Because otherwise the seller at 4 is going to capture all the buying and your customer's gone. And you're going to be sitting there with a big steaming pile of poop that you can't sell, right? That's why you watch the offer, and that'll tell you when the buying's drying up. Yes, Marcus, for now. For now, Marcus, yes. Now let's see if we can take out that overnight low. Once again, I missed that look above and fell of 13.5. Nobody, you guys are so quiet in the room. You're not calling out trades or anything. What's going on, you guys? When I miss obvious trades, you should be, hey, JJ, isn't there a short at 13? Isn't there a 12 short, 13 half stop? Not a single person. Come on, you guys. Come on, come on. Get with the program, you guys. When I'm slow, you're supposed to snap me out of it. Go, JJ. You missed this. Got to challenge you guys a little bit, otherwise you don't learn, right? If I don't challenge you guys, you're not going to learn. That was an obvious trade. 12 short, 13 half stop. Cover him at 8, 6. Right? Obvious. Little front running before the overnight low. Who's this guy, Syed? Well, thanks for the after the fact. Where were you before? Just bugging you. I don't know if that's the same Syed Shah that used to be in our room. If it is, hi, how are you? It's good to see you. There you go, TB, There you go. A risky trade, but you're in and out quick. That's good. Oh, your dad is the doc. Oh, okay, well, say hi to him. Hope he's okay. Oh, nice to meet you, Mohammed. Say hi to him. He's a good man. Alrighty, let's wait for the break of this overnight low. And if we take out the overnight low, I will be looking for 73.91 on the downside. So we're not getting any correction to overnight inventory, right? It worked. It worked, TBD. It worked. I mean, Not going to beat you up for a trade that works. Single print tails from 2 days ago. In the old days, we'd say T plus 2. Not from yesterday, from the day before. But right now, it's just a theory, right? It's not a single print. It's what they call excess. Single prints, Matt, are between two distributions. Excess is at the top or the bottom of a profile. Okay? So what you see here, this is excess, right? But if you have a distribution and then single prints, it's got to be in the middle of the profile. Okay? No problem. Sorry, it's just this persnickety market profile stuff, right? See, and I've kind of abandoned the thought of looking at excess. It doesn't mean anything to me with electronic markets as much as it used to when humans ran things, right? So I'm more concerned with single prints, poor highs, poor lows, and single prints because they're much more actionable, right? See how we're not taking out that overnight low? That's front running of the overnight low by short sellers. Well, that's good. Oh boy. Point of controls down there at 7402. Looks like a little positioning up to 5.6. We're going to see where the sellers are now. Oh, what a surprise, they're at 4. Clean out the 4s. And if we creep over 6.5, 7, look for 8, the 8s and 9s. Now this low here, if it holds, they call this a weak low, not a poor low. It's a weak low because it stopped short 2 ticks before yesterday's low. Now, what does that mean in real life? Like, how can I use that information, right? What you do is you buy that low, put your stop there, and ride it up into the sell, right? I didn't take the trade. I prefer to look below and fail. So I hesitated. I missed out. My discipline today is not good, right? We're doing some moving stuff. Girlfriend's stressed out. My head's not really 100%. I'm just getting over this illness. It seems like, I'm kind of running uphill a little bit, so I'm trading small, right? And I've missed a couple of really obvious trades. And that's to be expected when you're preoccupied mentally with other things, right? This is a real world thing, right? I'm not a robot. And this is something that you guys should learn. If you're preoccupied, no, I'm not. Well, it's a complicated story. You know, uh, it's, you're not a robot. If you're preoccupied with, things that are going on with your life, size down. Don't beat yourself up. Keep notes. Keep the discipline, right? Don't throw the discipline out, right? That's the point of it, right? I wish Hex nothing quite so glamorous. No, I got to stay here. I'm going to have my heart procedure done here. So thanks, Tim. Yeah, don't worry about the quantity. Just look at the candles. Watch the red line on the candles, right? Oh, congratulations on graduating, said. Well done. There's the look below. Excuse me. Do we look below and go? Do we look below and fail? right? So, you know, you buy the 99s, sell them, you know. It could be just a little quick trade. You should practice being quick. Because it's not that I want you to take thousands and thousands of trades. What I want you to do is practice being quick so you can make decisions quickly. And being quick means you can also get out of bad trades quickly. That is key in this business. So I'm not interested in going long at all unless it reclaims the overnight low. So if you're short, where are you going to bid? Hit the 96s and 3/4, and I covered at 95.5. Just a quick little scalp to see if my brain is working. And now I'm looking for 93.25, 90.25 here. Nice. Yeah. Nice work, Elsie. Nice work. Now let's see. If you reclaim the overnight low, you'll see there's still a seller there. That's good. Still a seller at the overnight low. That's okay. Let them sell. Let them clean it out. There will be a point where the market starts bidding. It's good liquidation. We need a liquidation. Yeah, every pop is getting sold, right? So when they pop it up, they step in. So what you're doing when you're trying to sell size, remember the cost basis before the move is between 73.45 and 73.85. And they've been selling that product above 7,400 now for 3 sessions, right? So they're putting it on sale. And when the buyers come in, they hit it. That's why when every time it pops up, they sell into it. It pops up, they sell into it. It pops up, they sell into it. Because they have to distribute size. And when you have to distribute size, you kind of feather it out, right? Good, good, good. This is good. It allows the shorts to come and do some covering. The buying retention, over the last 2 days is not that great, right? It was good enough for the last 2 days, and today we got some liquidation. It's healthy. This liquidation is healthy. This market has an annoying habit of running out of supply just when everybody gets short. So it's nice to see some selling for a change. It's nice to see some selling. Markets do need a breather. Oh, you changed color on your charts again, Elsie. So that this will be 8 times cost basis. I only drew 4. Long 74 on 6, flat at 90. Sorry, long, where was I long? 94 on 6 and flat at 96. Just a couple of points. Done. $74. Oh man, I gotta get some sleep. And as soon as I bought it, I sold it. Because I know they're going to sell into it. Now let's see if we can hold 91 and 3 1/4. 91 1/4 is the middle of the zone that we're in. The bottom of it is 72.70. The top is 75.11. And the middle is 73.91 1/4. Last time we came right to it, stopped, and popped. Let's see what happens this morning. The fact that we didn't take it out means it's not as much liquidation as we thought. There's a lot of trap shorts in this market. That's why when it sells off in a kind of a sticky way. It doesn't sell off smoothly, you know, which really screws up a lot of people. Oof. You know, and as a very smart lady said this morning, try to only do business. Be picky about where you do business on the chart. That really makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's a weak low of the 8th of May, definitely. Definitely. I mean, the 8th of May is here. We stopped short to the tick. Right, the 8th of May, 73.91. Let's see if we can take that out. Nope. It's teasing you, see? It looks like it's going to break 91 1/4 and then boop, pops right back up. The longer it stays down here, the more likely it is going to break. But if we start getting lift, it might hold for a little while. And that is what we call acceptance. Right? Acceptance is having a market stay over a certain level. The definition of acceptance is how long do you need to get your business done? So say you were buying 92, can you in a minute buy 92 and sell 94 or 95? Can you in 2 minutes buy 93 and sell 98? If you can't, then it's not acceptance. The definition of acceptance from market profile people is 2 half-hour periods. Now, because we're scalpers and day traders, I'm not holding trades for an hour, right? Some people are, and that's cool, right? If you have the skill and you have the capital to do so, then it's really cool. But most people don't. Oh, also skill, capital, and what else? You have to have the attention span. You can't just buy it and forget it, right? So now remember, inventory is still short. Okay, folks? Inventory is still short. We have not had any significant correction to inventory at all. So if B period can't break 91 and a quarter, and if we accept back over 99, 7,400, your target's going to be the previous day low again. Okay? Once again, it is important to let the larger traders work this area out. There's no reason to rush in and take trades. Right now we seem to be accepting back over the overnight low, going back and forth. Oh, look at the bid. So say you bought 99 or 98 and a half. You know there's going to be a seller here, right, at 74.02. So you might want to have you put your orders in. Get them in line because it's first in, first out. And if your orders do not get executed, you can scrub the trade and at least still pay commission. Does that make sense? That's how you stay alive in the first year or two of your trading. You take short trades, small profits, small losses. And over time, it adds up. So if I was long 99, 98, I would have been out at 7,400, like right before this white line. So you're long here at 99, 99 and a half, and you're selling 7,400. You have to, because you know there's a seller just under 2. Why wouldn't you sell with them? You all have the same inventory. It's not like you've got a special gold-plated ES contract, right? All the ES contracts are the same. So yours is not worth more than anyone else's. Does that make sense to you guys? Just because it's yours doesn't mean it's worth any more than the guy selling next to you. It's the exact same product. Any light bulbs going off there? Look below and fail of the overnight low, Aaron. When it reclaimed the overnight low, I bought 99 and I sold, and I used the candles to get out of the trade. Right? I knew that there would be a seller at 7,400, right? This is all short covering. That's why it's not holding. Short covering doesn't hold a market up until real buyers are convinced that there's price stability. So if you can keep the shorts trapped long enough, right? That's entirely up to you, right? To look below and fail of the overnight lows and time-tested trade, right? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with buying 95. If you bought 95, you had a place to put your stop, great, right? I waited until the sellers underneath 99 were cleared out. And I took a quick scalp. Now I'm trading small, so I'm not trying to make a lot of size or a lot of money on these trades. I'm trying to get my groove back by being quick. Right here you can see there's a seller at the overnight row. No point in buying it here, right? And it's starting to chop around, right? Let's see what the next steps are. The fact that we still have not taken out 73.91, that tells me something. Okay? That tells me the market is still bid. But I don't want to put a long position together just yet. Yeah, I did. I was only in that trade for a point and a half, couple of points at the most, right? Like I said, I had a different reason for taking the trade than you, and that's perfectly acceptable, right? I'm trying to get my speed back after not trading for 3 weeks, right? I was really sick, and I still have this virus. My voice is still screwed up. It was so bad that I went and actually got checked to see if I had a stroke because I sounded like Marlon Brando with a bunch of marbles in my mouth about 4 weeks ago. So I'm just trying to get my chops back. That's why I took that trade. And also, I don't see a reason to buy 95 right here on my chart. There's nothing that's telling me that 95 is a long. There's no reference here, right? But your charts might have something better, right? Yeah, I'm feeling better now. Yeah. My voice is still not 100%. I still sound a little messed up. Hey, but that's the thing, you get old. Take care of yourselves when you're younger, my young traders. 34 years of stress finally got to me. Yeah, the balance zones from previous days will work. Yeah, there's right now, I don't see a trade right now. I'll let the wholesalers and the short sellers work this out, right? Now, if we take back the overnight low again, right, they're going to be sellers at 2 and at 4. Now, so for some instance, we magically rip from 2 to 8, right? It means enough people are short down here and they go to cover, right? That can happen because we're still at all-time highs. See? This is a covering candle, right? Now we're creeping over that 74.01 and 3/4 seller. Right? Yeah, scalping long is fine. Just make sure you sell into strength. Now, if we get enough people trapped short, what did I say exactly 2 minutes ago? I said if it starts ripping over the twos, look for a seller at 4. They might step in a little earlier, right? Now, if enough people are short under 98, and if they add to that short at 74.02, if they all go to cover at the same time, bada bing, bada boom, there's 4, just like I told you, right? We told you 2 minutes before that trade happened that that's exactly what was going to happen, right? So had you bought 99, 7400, sell a little at 7402, sell a little at 7403, thank you very much, right? Simple, basic trading. This is not complicated at all. If enough shorts come now and are trapped under 7402, and they all start to cover at the same time, zip, we're going to go up to the 6s and print the 6s. 5 3/4 6, right? Now, where's the destination if you're long? Ultimate destination is 6.5 to VWAP, okay? That's probably where you want to get off the train. If you're long 73.98, 99, 7400, boom, there's the big green candle. I told you this would happen. I told you at 73.98, this is exactly what's going to happen. If you get everybody trying to cover at once and all of the cheap supply under a level is bought, that's where you get that big move up. You guys call that a V-shaped recovery. And those are the business mechanics behind it. So now that you understand the mechanics, you can trade much more intelligently. You can manage your risk more intelligently. You can wait for the trade, stock the trade, right? There you go. And there's the 6s, right? We just printed the 6s, right? So if you want to learn how to trade and use common sense, right? We don't tell you after the fact. We tell you before the trade's going to happen. Look out for this. This is what's going to cause this to happen. Cause and effect. And when you position yourself, you put your orders out. Say you'd bought 20 contracts at 98 or 99. You sell 5 at 2, 5 at 4, 5 at 5. Sell the other 5 at 6. Scale out of your trades. Let your orders tell you if the trade's working or not, right? Let the trade tell you whether it's working. How does it do it? By telling you whether your executions are getting executed. If they're not getting executed, it means you have to get out of your product because your ES contract is the same as Dave's, as R. Croy, as Josh, as Mike. Everyone's got the same contract. Your contract is just because, you think your contract is worth 74.14 and everybody's selling at 74.04, you're going to be left holding a contract while everybody else is cashing out. Does that make sense? Do you also understand the practical nature of doing business now? You understand the chart is a sales chart. Good. We knew there were going to be sellers at VWAP. Yeah, and they're not being diluted. Exactly. All right. Yeah, so Aaron, that's that look below and fail of the overnight low. I took it, made a couple of points, but had I waited and been a bit more dialed in, I could have taken it again and made more. Right? But I was talking about it, and I, I'm kind of feeling a bit tired, so because I've been on the phone all morning trying to, like when you're sick, when you start feeling better, you're like, oh, I got all this stuff to do. I got to make this up. I got to make this up. I got to do this. I got to do this. Might have pooped myself out a little bit here. That's okay. You know, that's okay. I still had an okay day scalping. Getting my chops back. Right? It's like if you're a trumpet player and you haven't played trumpet in 4 weeks, you gotta bring that thing out and start, playing some scales again. Nice work, ATL. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely something I struggle with all the time is that I'm too early. I'm always too early, right? Because I've been trained to get the order before the next guy does. Otherwise, your client's going to rip your face off. So that is definitely something, you know, you look out for. Oh, now we wait. Yeah, just tag VWAP. Nice. I do, Arcroy. Definitely. Now, same principle applies. If enough people are short under VWAP and we reclaim 13 and a half, we're going to take we're going to take this and we're going to sell it here. Just like we did here, but it'll be a bigger time frame, right? This is a smaller time frame. This is a bigger time frame. Now, why not lower, right? Because inventory is still short from the overnight, right? Until we go up and tag the close of yesterday, we have not had any kind of a meaningful correction to overnight inventory. And sometimes you're not going to get one because the market changes and tells you, look, there's sellers. But the fact that we didn't take out 73.91 and a quarter yet, right? Let's see what happens in C period. Give it some time. I think we're going to come back and do the washing machine between like 96 and 74.08 back and forth, right? Because if we run out of buyers here, we're going to break the twos and come back down to 73.98. So those of you who are shorting VWAP, put some bids under 74.02 and see if you can catch any cheap paper, right? Now, I don't recommend taking trades at VWAP, but when it's nice and flat, it's a lot easier than when VWAP is curling, right? So if you were short like 74.06, 74.05, go put some orders underneath two. If they don't get filled, just take them out. Just take the offer and get out, right? Make 1 or 2 points instead of like 4. But if your bids under 2 get hit, then you know you can stay short a little bit. Next bid level is going to be just under 7,400, right? Because the chart's going to tell you where the bids are, right? You can tell now that it's 2 bid because when it gets down to 2, it walks away from it. If they fill those 2 bids, watch. If they fill those 2 bids, it's going to drop down to 98, right? Or 7,400, 73.99. See how it's filling the 2s? Here we go. I'll always try and front run 7,400 or a nice big round number. So if I was short 5 and I was still short, I'd go 74.1, 1 quarter half. There I'd be filled, I'd be out of the trade. Okay? Always try and front run. No problem, Tim. Thanks for being with us. We're almost done. Only 6 minutes left. I'm happy it can actually go almost, do the whole session. We used to do, an hour and a half. And then when I got sick, we just kind of cut it down to like 45 minutes. And now I'm trying to extend the sessions again so I can stay on longer with you guys, right? So do you see how we bought product, went up to VWAP, now we put the product on sale? So once again, let's see if we hold that overnight low. And if we break the overnight low, right, once again, I'm looking for 73.91. Let's see what happens. Right, as the morning progresses, you're going to get new customers coming into the store. That's what they call order flow. Order flow is a fancy way of saying customer traffic, right? It's the flow of customers coming into the market to transact. So as the first hour starts to wrap up, we're going to see how well, how the customers are coming in. Are we going to get some good traffic? See you, Mike. Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow morning. And then sometimes it'll just kind of stall, right? And there's really no trade here. But do you notice something, friends? Let me just show you something before we wrap up this session. Do you see what I talk when I talk about cost basis? Say this was our cost basis. Then we went and sold it up here. And do you notice how when we came back, we came right back to the top of that cost basis? Do you guys see that? Markets will respect cost basis until the order flow overwhelms that cost basis. What does that mean? So a market, if there's enough selling, will mark the price down to where we paid for it. This is where we acquired the goods. This is where we sold the goods. And when we put it on sale, we bring it back to the cost basis of what we paid for it, right? And if we're desperate and if there's a lot of competition, we'll come back into this level here. Good. That's good. You can take those trades, have your orders out to get paid. I want you guys to get paid. You know, I want you guys to get paid. See how it splashed down right into the middle of that cost basis, right? So a couple size sellers came out, knocked it out. Get in and out, get in and out. This is that kind of market's trying to tell you this is not a day to hold trades forever, right? Unless you have a thesis and you have the money, you have the capital, and you have the skill, and you have the time to back up the thesis and hold the trade for longer, that's a different story. If you don't have all of those three, and let's add concentration and discipline, right? We'll sprinkle that with some concentration and discipline, right? We'll see. Just trade what's in front of you and make some money. If you only make 50 bucks, it's 50 bucks more than you had this morning, right? It'll take some time, Stealth, but it's repetition. Good trading comes from repetition of good, clear business practice, right? Be picky about where you do business on the chart. Don't overtrade, right? Overtrading is like if you're a salesman and a client comes into the store and you're just like, and you're all over that customer. Like, like you're all over him like a fat kid on Smarty, right? Oh, that's not politically correct. Anyway, if you're all over that customer, you're going to scare them away. So when you do that thing in trading, it's going to scare away the client. It's going to scare. You're going to start making bad decisions. So you just want to repeat good business practices. Get into a habit of waiting. I'd love to see us get under 73.91. Right? I'd love to see some good liquidation. Do we get it? Let's see. There we go. Nice. Okay. There's a look below and fail of 91. And if we open the next half-hour bar underneath 93.5, we'll have single prints. Otherwise, this will be excess. Right, so if the next half-hour bar opens up here, it'll be excess. Notice how that 90.25, it held to the tick. These balance zones, cost basis zones, they'll work for you. Right? Not that you're going to go long there, but if you were short, that's a place that you could cover if you were scalp short. Right? So some single prints to the downside would be healthy. A nice, good liquidation, down to maybe 73.50, that would be beautiful. 73.70, 370, 73.50, that would be really nice. No single prints. That's excess. So there is supply, just not as much, and it's not coming in fast enough. But it's coming in, so you can take shorts. Watch 91.25. Watch that B low. That'll break some stops. There we go. Nice, nice. Healthy liquidation. Beautiful. Good to see. Thank you, everyone. Come visit us at thetradingsyndicate.org. Great to see you. Thanks for being with me. Yeah, let's hope this liquidation continues. It's very healthy. We've been in the desert for weeks now without a good seller. So, thank you very much, everyone. Have a great trading day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye for now.